Okay, so let's make it higher.
No, it works now. That's
Okay, it
perfect.
works. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
hey James. So yeah, we have spoken a little bit on the phone. So do you want to tell everybody about yourself and the work you do?
Yeah, of course. So my name's James Harvey. I'm an activist who runs a campaign group called Students Against Tyranny, which was originally founded in September 2021 as a kind of social group for students who didn't want to take the certain thing I'm not going to mention because it's on YouTube. And it's kind of transpired since then into an activism movement. We kind of portray ourselves as being very anti-communist, and we're kind of against the implementation of Marxism into universities and the shutdown of free speech.
That's brilliant stuff, James. So we've conversed quite a lot. So I know we've had some quite a lot of similar views, especially regarding things like feminism,
Yeah.
trans ideology, and what we've described as the Islamification of the West. Would you like to tell the viewers some of your thoughts on this?
Well, I've actually been here today in Speaker's Corner, and I'm here today under the banner. We're just doing an interview. No, mate. So we've been here today at Speaker's Corner, and I've been here under the kind of banner of Concerned Parents UK, and we're concerned. Like, I'm not a parent myself, but I've been with a lot of parents, if that makes sense. And we're concerned about the future of this country, whether that be with trans ideologies. You know, you've got young kids who are mutilating themselves because they have been told that they can be a woman or they can be a man, even though they can't. You can't change the gender, you can't change the sex. I mean, gender's a made up word anyway. It's only been around for the last, 20, 30 years. It hasn't been around that long. And another thing we've been debating as well is the kind of Islamification of Britain. And I mean, I was talking to you about this earlier as well. Islam is a very, I kind of equate it to cultural Marxism in the fact that cultural Marxism is about taking a culture, wiping it clean, and starting anew and replacing it with something different. Islam does, I mean, if you look at any country Muhammad, for example, he's a warmonger. His main thing was going to villages, raping and pillaging the women there. And Islam, any country that it goes to, it takes over. And that's what we're seeing in the West right now is you've got illegal immigrants who mostly come from countries like Albania, who aren't refugees, who come here, escaping the Sharia regimes, don't go to another country like Qatar or Egypt or Saudi Arabia. They come here and then try and subvert our values to those values, the Islamic values, the values that don't compete, that aren't compatible with Christianity.
Yeah, I think that's a very interesting thing to mention. I think a lot of people are concerned, regarding the rise of Islamic extremism, Islamic fundamentalism. And how long have you been coming to Speaker's Corner? Is this your first time here? Or?
It's my second time here overall. I'm usually just out on the streets protesting and stuff like that. It's been fun. There's been a few fights almost. You know how, especially when you're debating someone on a very kind of, I don't want to say important, but something people feel so strongly about, and that's religion. Christianity, Islam, and stuff like that. So almost been a few fights. People get very kind of angry and stuff like that. But the main question that a lot of these Muslims don't answer is, how old was Aisha? She was 6 years old when they got married, 9 years old when he consummated the marriage with her, when he had sex with her, right, when he raped her. So yeah, this is my first time, second time coming to Speaker's Corner. First time actually debating the Speaker's Corner. I've loved every moment of it. It's great because I've got to see you as well. The talking about toxic masculinity. Well, not toxic masculinity, toxic femininity. And I mentioned this to you as well earlier. Toxic masculinity isn't men who are masculine. Toxic masculinity is the feminization of men. So men who are brought up in single mother households with no masculine role model in the house, they are more like.
You forgot to get dressed. No, looks very nice. Where's your dress?
Sorry, we're speaking.
Oh, sorry.
I'll speak with you later.
No,
Is this your together?
No, we're just doing a video. Thank you.
Oh, sorry.
so men who are brought up in single mother households are more likely to commit rape. They are more likely to commit murder. They are more likely to shut up a school. They're more likely to abuse drugs. They're more likely to commit suicide. Right? The toxic masculinity. Oh, do you want me to read you that bit or?
Yeah. That's a very important point you're making.
So, toxic masculinity isn't men who are toxic. Sorry. Toxic masculinity isn't men who are masculine.
Toxic masculinity.
Toxic
Fucking blame the black man and make up your stereotyping. Bullshit. Direct and institutional racism is the problem, is the root cause, is everything. These fucking crackers are fucking disgusting. Always trying to blame the man and say, oh, nasty and toxic relationship. It's bullshit. How can you fucking blame a man for all these problems in the world?
What?
Are you fucking
We're not.
serious?
I'm not arguing.
You fucking evil cunt.
I'm not even arguing for.
Oh, fuck off.
I'm arguing for masculinity, love. Oh, ridiculous that is.
No. Yes. Go on, because what
Sorry,
you're saying was
sorry.
really
I was going to say,
important.
right, before we got rudely interrupted there, toxic masculinity isn't the men who are masculine. Toxic masculinity is the feminization of the men. For example, in single mother households where they've got no masculine role model, men are more likely to commit rape. They're more likely to shut up a school. They're more likely to go to jail. They're more likely to abuse drugs. They're more likely to commit suicide. Toxic masculinity is the feminization of men. It's when men aren't masculine. We need masculine men.
No, I completely agree, James. I think masculinity is really important, and I brought this up as much as well. Are there any closing thoughts you'd like to say to the camera?
So, as you know, I'm a 20-year-old lad, right? I've been active in this movement since I was about 18, right? And now I'm quite worried, like many people, about the future of this country, right? You've got men who are mutilating themselves, taking estrogen, basically they're being prescribed a physical remedy for a mental illness. Gender dysphoria, as even defined by the Gender Recognition Act 2004, is a mental illness, right? Gender dysphoria is a mental illness. These young kids.
No, why people always come up with these
You
words?
should. Can you tell her to leave us, please?
No, you're in speaker school now. Just shut the fuck up.
We're filming a video. Can you leave, please?
Yeah. No, she's telling me to leave.
No, because we're filming a
This
video.
is speaker school. We'll go home and do it then. Privately.
The problem is if we got this we've got this transgender ideologies weakening men. We've got this idea of toxic masculinity weakening men. We've got feminism weakening men. We got everything that's just weakening men and weakening the culture of the West. What we're seeing right now is cultural Marxism. They are trying to erase our culture and replace it with something completely new, which arguably is the New World Order. So that's all I've got to say. But yeah, thank you for taking the time to speak to me.
No, great stuff, James. Thank you.
Thank
Really
you.
important. I'm
Cheers.
sure we're going to work more together in the future.
100%. Thank you.
Okay.
Gender dysphoria.
Thank you for watching. Everybody.
Yes.
So what was he saying?
Yeah.
So I was arguing.
Yeah, no, James is a really great guy because he's part of an organization called Students Against Tyranny, and he yeah, he's part of he's part of an organization called Students Against Tyranny, and I was actually supposed to speak at an event. It was I think a couple of months ago now, where they were basically, I think it was like a stand up to Marxism, like a counter Marxist event or something. But yeah, no, it was a really important event, and it got cancelled because basically there are a lot of people there. He basically said that most of the people who were going were women, and that like Antifa were going to come along and they were going to be really rowdy and stuff. But no, I really appreciate the work that James does, and I think we have I'd say generally similar concerns regarding things like feminism, the trans ideology, the Islamification of the West. And when we talk about the Islamification of the West, we're really talking about the eradication of native Western culture. I mean, from watching my stuff, you watch my stuff. For me, that doesn't necessarily mean Christian. I'm not religious. That just means, like effectively like England. The way the culture already is. The way I see it is kind of the secular stroke liberal, or we just say the secular West, right? This society is fundamentally a secular society at this point, and I think that most people living in the West right now don't want to live in a country that is governed by religion. We want to live in a country that's secular, and we're very concerned with the rise of religious fundamentalism, and that religious fundamentalism is largely coming from Islamic fundamentalism right now. And that doesn't negate the good Muslims out there, but again, it's about the eradication of an already existing culture and effectively bringing in something which is not necessarily compatible with that culture. But it's an important conversation to be had, and James and I are definitely going to be doing more work together in the future. But yeah, I'll put his links to the details in the video description later on today. You can go check out his work. And yeah, thank you for watching, and bye.
Okay, let me go.